Fitch so the omodi abomo so oma downgrading na Fitch card here asema o can say ono no normally no all time downgrading nipa enko C wakwa a B minus didn't just say your economy is so worse to the extent say maybe I do no Fitch has to downgrade us to C ebepe enwa se maka any economy ni nyina ene anope ewo show no so yes am share the reshuffling the president's failure to reshuffle his ministers or say omubo ejuma na wa wo call for reshuffling no either say we NDC ni and I say upe ejuma bi aye and I say onye ejuma oye and that is I'll say those calling for reshuffling are NDC or maybe they are jobless. Inti yeah, we're live on Facebook now at Active TV Ghana at Active TV Ghana. It is here me co-host here. Na me so ma share ama obi na obi nso nya bi ahwe nti mo answer obi co-host here. Na wa share Ivan nso share here na obi nso nya bi ahwe nti me co-host here. I'm currently there right now. Me click on the copy the link na ma copy link no it is here me ko share ama obia enya bi nti so mo answer we bora Facebook at Active TV Ghana na wa like page no na uya wa share live program na ekoso no na obi nso enya bi enti si am share ama madam fo bi o US no so ono 15 minutes or catch me say I'm waiting to watch Ivan enti me ko si am ko share ama no ma catch me say Ivan is on now. Ivan is on now. Nti bo modi answer so be sa YouTube so at Active TV Ghana. At Active TV Ghana. Now Active TV GH on YouTube. And also subscribe to channel. No subscribe ya. Adoma ki to everyone chen mi aso. Umi asa adoma na ebe ma all personalized and anan. Patch of all mame. Ofa all na say anytime you be call live on YouTube and I say the video we be to YouTube no. Una be di kan enya answer na obi enya. We will join the discussion and so WhatsApp 0503-236-735. Number on the whole screen so 0503-236-735. Na file messages efa na yejuche inkomo ene anope ewo show no so within the agent in Boaten. Ivan ewa ha mama na kwa Ivan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Na pomo to say.
Nyame adom. Anope de hu say wahiti.
And the magic Clement Ejuma no. It's say government officials are joking with us. Are joking because you don't understand. Say yesterday was worse for us as a country. Inflation was hit 31.7, and then we also had information that CD to dollar. No, you need about 9 cedis 40 pesos to get $1. Now fetch as Sunday another rating abeka ho. You remember how you but made them person cool it down. He said me number cool now hit hard so much. Ekufa do so reshuffle. Or say more about calling for last over time now calling for it. Or see one either so we NDC and two we are jobless.
Menua ma menchia what here for. Over the years, so we monitor the political landscape now. Amanfo ashase kasa bebre enti say what in China now utie some of the tone language na obi tincha waka say na Ghana say the culture na sesama nipa muade na say but I think say ya ba bedru ba bia say the reality is dawning on even those are not so much reserved about the kind of conversation amanfo have about this whole governance thing ayekoso yemo binum hu ni ntem politics in this particular country is more or less like a joke. And there are certain individuals they've gotten opportunity to be at a higher political stage. They almost deserve to be there. But because of your structure system in such a way, say, and recognizing merit, it doesn't recognize knowledge. And then as a form, you know, we dear chobo ya, we are lucky. We timeka stage in the subi. So we have a lot of people on the political stage here. But they are there because they have some individual clout within at the party level. And so those things will come to bear at the leadership table. And so we have situation na ekosona. Now you will be a sabi wabi mudaho now you don't just look at the short term, but rather long term. Do we have a strategic thinkers, a model policies, by our long-term prospect on the future of this particular country. So, a moon a moving in your frustration, stem from that we speak the way that we speak. Hoping say at least, you bet me one my teacher of mine. With him, reshuffle no answer for ya dear back happen all the time. Because you see, Mr. We are president, the entire human resource, the entire human capital is at your disposal. And you are supposed to make use of the finest at any point in time. And it's over team. Now at the end of the day, team now are not performing. And we and yes, we are just supposing, and I say we are just assuming these are near evidence. Grounds just said definitely these individuals have not only failed, but rather no, but you do a level where they are just deteriorating the future of this particular country. That is the point we've got into. People across the country, those in the diaspora, those in opposition, civil society organizations, OBI, even pastors, and people within the party, Akufo-Addo and Kasadano, the MPP, have realized that no. We have the men, as I say, are dying guests. Guess a crime, yes, so Mudru.
Guru boys.
Men, not direct Guru boys, said we see cano. And this is the time for you. Just look at the other round. Because you see, so will be that particular luxury when the person is not performing. They feel relaxed and they feel emboldened and say, oh, yeah, leadership. And I say, baby, we are entitled. Yes, you are also kill the energy to do anything better. Over the years, country or mind economically, economic prosperity, sink almost all the rating agencies I ever bash, ever come once I downgraded Ghana to the stand said, your sovereign ratings, issue bond that. And I walk see a rating Ghana say junk. Or your nipa na bra titia, or that's one upon or Tidan chamber beyond the Jordan or no friend the pocket see a number mobra, Sana Ghana, Aquaye. So such a state, and your citizens are calling on you. Don't forget, Akufo-Addo was just an ordinary person who was just masquerading around this particular country with Amanfo Dinechi. The might of the state was never committed to him. But when Ghanaians gave him that particular power, the authority to be president, now the might of the state has been committed. So you need to respect that particular authority that has been committed to you by the people. The people are asking you, say, there has been a monumental failure, display of incompetence by you, your economic management team, and almost everybody around you. So at least, just make use of the available human resource. We don't try money. Just give them a chance because they are in there, you trust as a reasonable president. Even if you have reservation, you have just cause to prove. Say, oh, Ebia, say, young child, you're quite fast. You manage language, not quite fast. Leadership, no, Nina Kahumbi. Mama Kasa Akufo-Addo nipa leadership so he doesn't have any idea. He was very fortunate in circumstances are pushing it to be at president. Ne Kasa cry Kasa time. Because yebisa that particular question, he could have found a better way to answer them. But rather he decided to tag those of us calling him to reshuffle a failed administration. They are either jobless or they are NDC. So somebody being jobless or being NDC, is it an excuse? And I don't know, put two certain restraint on the persons over China again about what is going on. NDC are they Chinese? Or being near Juma is that person a Togolese? As a president, Nipa near Juma ya responsibility necessary. So you see, if you begin to subject in some kind to intellectual scrutiny, then you are able to identify a lot of intellectual loopholes in the statement that the president made, which means a statement. And that particular statement is highly unprecedented because as president, you must always be mindful of your language, the tone, and then some obeka. You see, Ghana is sitting on a powder keg. We are just waiting for the right time for it to explode right in front of our faces. Because you see, the economic turbulence in a precursor, this particular country will slide into a state of pandemonium. And you see, there are a series of examples we try to cite just to give us, put the whole discussion in a better perspective and as a good context. Lesson on the bit related to events are coming out of situation like this. Quite recently in North Africa, we see Tunisia. Situation is saying hyperinflation, unemployment, and the youth were agitating. In the end, what happened? So anytime there is heightened economic distress in a country, it give room for other events to happen. And my culture among for say, follow event leading down to the Second World War. No, it was exactly what happened, because Germany was part of the First World War. They were saddled with joblessness. Your friend say hyperinflation, sustained hyperinflation for a longer period. People were agitation. There were economic distress that was hovering around Germany, and that created, your friend say, political instability within the system. A foreigner infiltrated, exploited that particular challenges. Now no more go through. No, then he came and took over Germany. Well, I have told you, so Adolf Hitler na mutini dini Germany ni. Of Austria, he was just a painter, an artist. Germany called war no by, and then he enlisted, or called Bavaria, enlisted to join the army. Then they made him say he should be in charge of espionage, like spy. You know, any political movement, be a man for a form to make the government unpopular. Be a not spy, or then you report back to the army. Or call any German Workers' Party for a year way. In some no Canada, then he joined them. So it means the economic, your friend is saying, desperation and hover on Germany relative to their involvement in the First World War, because they were supposed to pay a lot of reparation packages, hyperinflation, and whole lot of things. You know, now economy every day be an amount for guabonting. So he saw an advantage, he exploited. So when he decided to join the army, now be and Sadian, Okoya, then he obey a someone and say, Uncle spy on them. No, then he decided to join them. In the end, then Adolf Hitler, a foreigner took over Germany, and he took them to the Second World War. To the extent that Obubu Germany say Germany because mine and they are foreigner about mine. So whenever who say economic situation of this particular nature is hovering around as president, you know, you should sense a threaten the very foundation of your very government, the entire country. So you take earnest measures to ensure that you address it. We are talking about the president who is so much confused to the extent that Menyasho said Akufo-Addo is in touch with the reality. He's living in an utopian world. He has completely lost touch with the reality, because I am not sure any reasonable person looking at where Ghana is will admit to say the ministers at this particular time are performing better. When you have all the credible rating agencies are downgrade you junk. S&P they are very flexible in their ratings. And this I had the past now. I Fitch any Moody's downgrade here no. So I had S&P your first ratings are now it was far better than all these things. The Bronibe kasa omona nkasa no. Very magnanimous. They are very benign when it comes to ratings. But for them to go to the extent of grading Ghana CCC with our sovereign bond, you know, clearly nature say the economy is in a sorry and in a sad state, and as a government, you know, you need to just avail your mind to the situation. Now we need to be home. But the president is telling you, say the ministers are doing better. Ministers are doing better when the economy has grounded to a halt, and now we are chasing IMF for a deal. What you mean? The person was IMF deal now. Yeah, chasing. It's a clear indication say the economy of this particular country has crashed, and the people are put to a more at the various sector to man are not performing. So as president, you have a core responsibility to ensure say either you motivate them to do better or you change them for another people to another set of team to come and take over. But he's telling you say they are performing better in the face of economy na crash or chasing IMF deal. At the time, and your sovereign ratings na they be your rating in junk. At the time, your debt to your GDP rises to a level. At the time, there is hyperinflation, because inflation, you know, commanding young one say, if you want to do a real inflation analysis of our current situation, trust me, you go beyond 31% and more than
the conversation was on social media. Yes. You don't believe this?
No.
It's more than that.
Because you see, inflation in the average, your friends say, kwanya nema bo efaswa and rise the kosoro. And now koso kota dia, adia will turn 1 cedi, and now do 2 cedi. Nema bo triple kosoro just like that. And government is not taking any measures to ensure that you better mitigate those things. Because as I said, there are a lot of things that VAT and as for good. So as a reasonable government, how do you ensure say some of these things they go near masono krano ube ye free so sabe amam for ho ebe henhan omo. And on the other side, the government is also having revenue shortage. Taxes in as for OJJ, VAT and as for ho nyina no ni nyina akwa neema nkoye. So it means that there is a fundamental problem with the structure of this particular economy that you need to just move beyond the ordinary NDC pedestrian MPP politics and president taking the center stage instead of him to address and win the soul and the minds of
carry
the
country along,
carry the people along to be with him. He's just out there still propelling that kind of infantile kind of politics, NDC, MPP politics. We they are the traitors. Some are, or say, naysayers and whole lot of language, and presidential language. But that is what consistently in OUSU. But to come out with a program, an economic recovery program that will just help us to see light at the end of the tunnel. Dark, yeah, I hope you say bit to me, because in the face of all that is happening, have you heard a single initiative from government? I say, I don't know solve the problem. Have you seen any? Have you seen any economic recovery program? Apart from saying, I'm not yet to turn some man from back and forth. Now, the president and the minister is bold enough to confront some of these agencies there. So today, we should trust Kendo Foriata, who has been nothing but a pathological liar over SMP, a credible, your friend saying, a credible rating agency or your friend's international reputation. Young believable Baumia, who has become a lying major within this particular setup, political setup way, over Moody's and as a Fitch and as a Kufuor na unity over Hwang. Because what they've been doing over the years, trying to cook the books just to paint a very positive outlook. But you see, these institutions out there will definitely not cow to those things. They will make sure, say, they will review the economy and give, they will give you a head up, say, no. Or minor will come, no, so who say, Kamenomo, who do Sika Komomo, or Sika Beckham, ratings and everybody else, and a they are just alerting people on the sovereign market. Say, no. Way. So who Sika come out, don't blame anybody. Because the economic prospect of that particular country is so dark, bleak. So who call her here? And until I call Eurobond and say, oh, be what Nisika mine. Internet, Ghana buying on Ghana higher market and so, and all Jabusinia. And this is what I want be a local way, as also Pabusinia free banga. When you are buying, and they chase loan. Do better in your video grow business.
So buying.
Exactly. And that is why the economy is contracting. Exactly. So local businesses will definitely fold up. Local industry, private businesses by a case to propel economic growth, you need the private sector to act as an engine. Avenues on resources now they are in competition with government. And government is not making any effort that is aimed at ensuring to salvage the situation we are confronted with. So very unfortunately for we Ghanaians, we are dealing with a president who has lost touch with reality, a very confused old man who is supposed to be sleeping somewhere. But unfortunately, he's still playing president, and he doesn't see that there is a problem. But when we are screaming, oh, there are challenges in us, or to be or not being say, or growing a woody. Then it comes back to the question that be a who are the advisors of the president? President at least or only on also the advice by the other man. Council of State, what kind of advice are they giving to the president?
They are involved in corruption.
We have a Council of State member who has been fingered in the corrupt deal. So who are stretching what it means. Even Nippon or Mutu are buying for no crano, that is what it means. So imagine what crumb for who are buying for. What outcome do you expect? You have a thief advising the president. And then you see. So when you see corruption, that you see that corruption has become pervasive everywhere. Clearly, it tells you that. And this person, resignation. And I'm like say, it's not about governance. It is about men. Now look at the race of more. Yeah, catch it up. We say a do way so. Ghana nkwana sa president etimi duro bi so succession line family dynasty if we so e call we so that is the kind of nonsense I am building in the minds of people. We are not looking at people with creative mindset, individuals with knowledge, individuals who can think and profess alternative that will take us out of the situation we are confronted with. That Stone Age politics, that trivial era politics now. Aduru we so mama na mranti nipa na adwen woni timo adwen ni timo aduru no so yamfa no nko. This is the kind of primitive politics we sit here and do. We are not thinking about growing this particular country because Nneema Akufo-Addo are demonstrating over the years nyina kire say the greatest mistake Ghana for in this entire political history is to give power to Akufo-Addo. Because the guy is not only sinking the future of this particular country, but rather or destroy any possible opportunities bia ebetimi anya kranka ye de be find a way out to kra no or say no akwese dan no watimi awuram no ya door no ya lock no na mpoma na at least eto de eden a obefam ohuresi abonten no ya sia bresi no ndi ono da wa lock door na sia abresi mpoma no ye ni ba bia there is no way out. That is the kind of country I am. So it's a problem. The language enya papa kwan of us okasa enya papa kwan of us odwene enya papa kwan of us ototo neema enya papa say appointment all ye enya papa. There is nothing about this particular guy that serves the interests of this particular country. So I think that Ghana for will now appreciate the fact that we are not motivated by malice, hate, whatever. We are just speaking to the realities. Because I sat on this particular platform about months ago and I told you, say, IMF bema yisika more $3 billion. I have said it several times on the program. And not fetch we never buy no. What is that they made the same
also we need $3 billion Ghana cedis dollars to survive.
So what? No, Sikana almost a free.
3 billion, yeah.
Exactly, and this is something we've been saying. I've been saying over the years even on this particular platform. So, in some we see it even before it happens. A long way because if you are very reasonable and you have a foresight, you can predict events and see how things are going.
True.
So that particular recovery program, my culture says, is not anything that could save Ghana. We need a massive program a bit to take it out of this because you see, countries have gone through this experience and so forth, but your leadership are reversing that particular trend. Last time I was telling you about China in 1800. Satam na a GDP the rate economy no nyama and about recently. But eba you go back to rate economies in 1800, it was realized that China was richest country in terms of GDP. But then, unfortunately, circumstances in the event unfolding within China, no, it take your mind area in the beginning of 1900, no, now we'll count to the poorest countries in the world. Now China was one of them. 50 years after, and that China has bounced back because you see, in rehabilitating their economic infrastructure, they didn't just start by putting up political rhetoric. So they first considered leadership with the kind of because I never quit China who has a political instability. That is why democracy they are informed by previous experience because there is this Taiping rebellion I see China some time ago, and then they destabilized everything. 600 cities were destroyed. And as a result, over 20 million individuals died because of that. And a place in for setting in. So the entire economic infrastructure of China then destroyed. Then they went into the abyss. Now they decided to come out with a different style of leadership, with a different economic recovery program, with a different ideas and so forth. Now they've been able to take themselves to where they are. 1990, when they were threatening Thailand, your friend is Taiwan. Over splitting almost independence and then as a for no more the fishing boat and a net threatening more on the sea. Today, what who near more the threatening more? Just go to CNN and watch the videos. Your friends say arsenals and munitions or more high powerful one. And then China need to me your friends say missile guided your friends say your Friday will cross a mechanical and to even military or more advanced. That is how countries grow. And so when you have that particular chances and want to grow, now sleep what? And no. And it's exactly what has happened to Argentina.
Also, somebody or yeah, or yeah reshuffling na a bit destabilize the governance no. The government.
Governance no here was Akufo-Addo until Amamu no we. That is why I'm telling you he has lost touch.
I said I can not say you get your can you.
No. I said don't get yeah me say the baba no. Akufo-Addo until Amamu no we. And I'm catch said the guy is confused. Ade ayete where Amamu no how be destabilize no. There is no government. There is no government. Government no here be destabilize no. Government na ya ba bia na mean. Ya reti wo economy ni jank no. Usika eka me na wo no. Isn't the economy? That is what I'm telling you say. With all due respect, we have a confused old man playing president without responsibility. And what we see, he doesn't see. He's living in an utopian world. Be like I told you now, or president and mind for you, or hang jet in the moon. Even look at the size of his government. And look at his finance minister. The finance minister way at your minor bobusian ba debt servicing you jump from 10 billion to over 50 billion. And the taxes are this is a person playing finance minister. And he will appear on radio or TV. People ask him, now one can rate you performance. I said this here, or say only Jesus can say such madness. Now Jesus is not talking about. You see, that is the level these people have taken governance into. To them, this politics, everything is a joke. So they can just toy and mess up after all. And offer mine our friend Abamti, he can just be because if you are speaking to an informed and enlightened mind, people who are very sensible, now they ask you about your ratings and if the power show you don't tell them say Jesus can rate you. What are some American? So it take it out to a different paradigm. Said we are not dealing with ordinary people. We are dealing with a confused bunch of they don't even know what they are doing. And we, the gullible people, and consistently we have some of us on various platforms trying to sustain this dynasty of failure we are confronted with now, because they are not ready to lift a finger to solve a problem. Just mention one person in this particular government that is doing anything better, but like I say, you take solace in that particular person.
As lawsu or yes some registration.
Oboni dia na bibi ya yeme. O munipa that is why I'm telling you, these guys even leadership na nkasa kra no. Nze no na me ka say elsewhere the people train leaders. They make leaders. And when you become leadership is an art that can be perfected. Other some countries are wouldn't mean free baby before no you need say you go through a lot of orientation and as for training as for so that spirit of nationalism no how to act as a leader and has been imbibed in you. So even when you make appearance in public language you are guided in your destiny. Unfortunately for us, that is not what we have. Here, political appointment is never based on merit. It is not based on the fact that you can do the job. It is about the kind of affinity, affiliation, the relationship you have with certain individuals. It is about nipa way of pawasemo, way of sabotage. So the requisite way in knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, people who can profess alternatively as a form, those people are regarded as arrogant, and for that, they will not even bring them close. So we always try to bring to the fold people we can cow to submission. Individuals who will be doing our burden. What I say, who will be tied to our your friend is saying whims and conveniences. Because but instead of us to look for quality in individuals, because in Ghana is a serious country. Ya dream would that was a pel might be a bua. Many sure and castle will be playing president minister. I will say, we a Greek minister masquerading or no cross of a president. Eddie. These are guys we are confronted with. These are people. This is a nightmare. These guys are nothing but they are nightmare. And they call themselves the men. Me see they are jokers. We don't even have the men. And I work as a guru boy. But because most of them guru boys. Just sit there. You see. That is why always I try to say, irrespective of where you stand across the political divide, NDC, MPP, whatever, no, that is not the problem. But whenever we are doing analysis, let us try to project the discussion beyond the frontiers of partisan politics. Now you're very objective, rational. Because my case of politics, you have emotions in your politics. It is about being rational, being objective, and the truth is always objective. The truth is never your friend is saying subjective. Yeah, individuals, we can be subjective, but the truth is always objective. And you know, how do we objectively analyze a situation from a very dispassionate perspective? Say a bit when we say, oh, we are can say that here. Until say you judge people in that particular scope, they will continue to toy with us because when say you're serious, we don't even know what we want because your mind people have resigned for far lesser reasons than what Akufo-Addo and his guys are doing. Yet we told you about Boris Johnson why he resigned. Boris Johnson resigned and as Akufo-Addo that's what he president. What I will say a year before because Akufo-Addo should have gone long time ago. But that particular sense to realize, I have failed my people, I need to apologize and go away. No, that sense you need him to black man. So I'm a yakusi, he will never resign. What I say, and some of the ministers the same thing. The one thing I mean who I'm a Papa no no kwabena kono kai under John Mahama
Prime Minister.
He made a promise. In as much as a certain effort will be made to ensure that power shortages and outages and at the time now, what kind of deadline I went to, and he didn't see it.
Or resigning.
He resigned. That is what leadership is about. That is what it takes to be a leader. That is what it takes to be a man. What I say?
I don't know some na akabibi back.
Exactly. But true to his words,
he resigned.
These are individuals you can trust and say that this person is a leader. And in our history, I think that he's one person. I wait me yes, no, sema. I resign. Sometimes you can take solace from. We are dealing with a bunch of individuals who have failed from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. They are still being arrogant. I dream nipa better to be remorseful and just come down to the level of the people. Say, nipa yo mo tie muko social media guys are agitating. People are making a whole lot of comments. What actually is the problem? Let me come down to the level of my people. Let's just address what the challenge is. But the president thinks that he is more knowledgeable and more sensible than Obia. And the Ghana for even people who are not even in Ghana asking him to reshuffle. Or free say everything is okay. And he says that his ministers are performing better. I think that is an insult. That is an insult to the intelligence of the ordinary Ghanaian. And Akufo-Addo's statement, is an insult to every sensible person in Ghana. Unless those on the flip side. And we can't flip side that win him. Emotions and their politics. That particular statement that he made and the ministers are doing better. It's an insult to every single intelligent mind in this particular country, except those on the flip side. Those who do politics with emotion, and for them, there everything is cool.
Obi Kasimi, and I forgotten the person's name. Now, or can Asemi say if presidents and you don't reshuffle, it means that you have a secret to hide. What are you doing?
Oh, yes, because you see, there has been consistent debate around the finance minister. And and just consider the proximity between the president and your friend and the finance minister in terms of family relation and so it could be one of the reasons. What has happened American? It could be one of the reasons because Nipa no Obebano might not want to take the fall. So real situation he will just try to at least say that member to you. So going forward, here is what I'm taking from. Because in the future, you may be liable for criminal, your friend is saying, you can face prosecution. And then I say for them, together. It is about creating certain synergy, professional relationships, and I not put too much pressure on your people to work much higher at a higher rate because on himself one achieve efficiency, you are there watching them. He has no personal ties with you, and if you want to deal with him, you can deal with the person as the way that you want to. But whenever there is family ties, that kind of affinity, close proximity in terms of relationship, a tie, and you are not able to deal with. So to him, who the whole thing as some kind of a family enterprise. Now even persons who have been pinpointed, cited in the case of corruption, how much more or my so mo faili? Yanti Kroman Ajimamanu speaking Sputnik V. Oko Jina Parliament cast on payment, under oath, he committed perjury. The president took a stage and cleared him. Besinde or that sort of so yadi oye. President, what is all can say before?
Yes, happen. No,
I said the abokro no cry no. Yes, on Tinamana. I said the own I was who are failing. Can you for Riata Quajabosia or no Ancasa the companies in as for edge the cat in as for no? Which sensible person in this modern way? Abayas idea no. But we allow it to pass. What I say? Can you for Riata Bab? Yeah, fans Bank Oba Finance Ministry had no cost sign data bank workers in go and check about 20 individuals and also saw Mono Mbegu Bank of Ghana. And to them, it's an extension of the Omoyano data bank. So Bosnia Bono money young and I just set up dummy companies in as a form.
So the more we borrow, the more they benefits. Data banks benefits.
So, but we are not running a Bush government. We are running a civilized government in a modern day. A modern day government that is supposed to be propelled by wisdom, knowledge, intelligence, and diverse ideas among forward and a engine oil. I say propel money move. But we are dealing with a primitive government that is propelled by clanism, family ties, family relations, and that Bush mentality. That is what is driving this particular government. That Bush mentality. Makacho said it's a complex mix of inferiority complex and then superiority complex. In between, there is a diseased complex. That is what our president is suffering from. He is suffering from a diseased complex. Who said like kokoti, that kind of style. No? So, ye kasano. Sabi Moabi mano na we room the omukasa ombejai. That is how they see us. So what TV so what tena yati ya kasa yi omotisrom kasa we no more a combine di omo. That is what the president is telling you. Said those of us calling are jobless. But when do it in a creative job? A president has the guts to describe his citizens as jobless. Which reasonable president will ever in public make such a public statement? You see, in the US and other place, Donald Trump and Biden will break that particular convention. As someone, every free US president, even the universities have a way of going into, because there are professors and their job is to study American president. And every single word that comes out of their mouth is very key and crucial. So President Okasa, you need to be very, very, very careful. But Akufo-Addo is a type of a person. He made Okasana is a trauma. It's different. But whenever he's off script, I have monitored him on several occasions, and I think that the intellectual fallout in most of his conversation off script, is so amazing, and that tells you who he really is. Because the actual man kind there, and then here say and there copy. So here the way church of the man. But some better than high paper new and engage. Let's talk. Just think. Profess alternative. Let's solve the problem. Let's discuss. He doesn't have it, and I can give you scenarios. Go and watch an interview or Al Jazeera. If you say free SHS, cost and send it here. To papa so say Kenyans assemble kokra ho. Na no other your friend is saying Nigeria ni BBC Ghana on the interview. Go and listen. We are making reference now. Guy investment UK now because UK economy is down. Comparing Ghana's economy to UK. That was the conversation. Another conversation in Yano or Peace FM. Kwame Sefa can be saying say or hini bi wo aflawo no see ni suku. What the comment on my he was off script. Then another one is the Tamale one. So as an American, I am basing it on the fact say and your assumption and your supposition say whenever our president is off script, that's our chance you miss an asema. Why you expect certain weight and intellect to come to bear as president? The whole world going to bring way, at that point, that is when he performs zero, nothing. So don't be surprised. Akufo-Addo is a disaster. I have said it several times.
S&P ratings, Oma describing an economy as junk. junk economy, and that is the worst since 2003. I know, say normally, what I can say, okay, let me hold on with that. But I mean, first of all, no, S&P rating, what is it about? My yenche ashafo yenche ma de kakra. S&P, what is it about?
Unse, we are see ayewe. On minds up so grow economy. One kasa or effort within your country, no, may not be enough. What I say. So at some point, you might need help from others. So Satima Nagana no middle income way country, no. Naba IMF, World Bank, MI Sikabebre. They could do middle income country, no. Certain extent, or move away a bit self-sufficient, like about 18 years. So those freebies na never IMF budget way budget no on the mobile there, but yes, say the city na good. So at that level, no, what me call your Friday the capital market. Capital market, and as a commercial market, we are saying. And your individuals, corporations, companies, and more hold your musica bobosia. Big ones, or more musica bobosia. And on my be say, oh, what at some point in time, they know what our market no so. Now, Kopesika. Now, so Kopesika, you go in the form of so floaty bond. So floaty, then omo percentage in rate in a can one over buana. Then omudu musika babeshim, sebe yombenya more returns. But because it's a business transaction, you need to just study and know say business now will come, you are not taking risk. So there are credible rating agencies globally. Omo you want to say, omo rate countries and even some of these corporations to know their financial standing. Now omo who say, so what is the care come on mine? The chances are ombetimi etua no high and say low. That's what they do. So Fitch, Moody's, and I find S&P, they do other things. But I want to simplify sabi abetias here. So for countries who economic prosperity and say for check it or mine bosia wabo usika sem say the city na say na sa wokọ sa market no so na sa wokọ je bosia na time na wo dey show so obetua na eyam pampa so obetimi atua na that's the question. Enum no omo ya hu say Ghana ba be ba beduru yi your debt to your GDP eclipse here to the sense and yenam 80 to something
80%,
and there is a forecast say you be this year 84.6 by IMF, which is credible, and these agencies are the most credible that you're from the big three when you Fitch, S&P and the Moody's omojuma omo ye no and no who say bosia Ghana abrogu ni so na no Ghana chances of paying your debt was saying you betua no yentumi we will default. Why? Because your debt to your GDP is high. Because from 2017 to now na official bosia na yabo no in interest ayetua na ho no na ye 10 billion. And ne say sika na nyina say yetua 50 billion. First quarter we bosia interest na say yetua sometimes you service quarterly basis like you can quarter 12 months no uchem saying 4 enti uchem 3 na ye 4 say 3 times 4 say 12 yeah, so 3 months be first quarter second quarter first quarter no sika na ya jeje ye no kwa na ntimi enso say the best service your first quarter debt. That is the way for you. And na bosia na ya ba and na service na ye best service no dawson. The other side is amortization na so de wo keka ni nyina boma sika Ghana betua see the service your debt no. Now what they check it against sika or mine yenya esa. They are warning those on the market and say Ghana ye obe floating bond na so wo do sika komana e be ye den so betimi atua ama wo. Enti ye de say na omo prosperity here they will not tell you either say maniska na me maniska. So when they do the ratings then omo market no so no will also look at it say okay until next time no corner say wo floating bond obi enu ho beba.
So anything Bloomberg am I top 4 ho you can't more to into your car yeah top 4
exactly.
In fact the first for Africa
exactly. Enti o bond ndo betimi akọ floating o obi enu ho beba obi enu ho be subscribe how na be na o ka o man o ka me no enu nti na ye to there no because winim 2017 to 2018 omo ba ya no mudi mrika kwaje ye ko sa market ya America na kwaje sika na e de bae bebre 2 billion ndi be kata ya to no so 2019 and ye kwaje 3 billion bae 2020 ye kwaje 3 billion 2021 ye kwaje 3 billion so afeno be papa na edibrika na e market na se kwaje so within a short period they kufu ado buy ono nko kwaje over $11 billion
on
in the form of Eurobond on that particular market, which is highest in the sub-region within a short period. On mine, Africa, within a short period, was subscribing to such money.
$11 billion
within a short period of 4 years. And the idea, I feel when I call no catch a massa. Mo fear na look at more depth to GT. Mo be a mamma. Ye queen ye. And I did any brain in a begu 11 so. 11 ye. I thought
it was 11 billion a year thing.
Who checking over that time will be no 11 billion to me to share my own 11 menka 11 million no 11 asem na ya so sometimes you know so what discuss sometimes when you careful we can't say many say you can and these are people who are just still joking around the corridors of power sikano Eurobond on kwano aya $11 billion and you subscribe I'm say 0.2 crack home
and a year call for IMF 3 billion
na and what you no within period they are making IMF COVID-19 by no they made available $1 billion for free me and I just your rapid credit facility no ya cause say rapid credit facility no 1 billion ya kwaje ye ya no and IMF say okay ahochira ba we a member country you make you another $1 billion available and the countries based on the contribution and as for Ghana na you're entitled to $1 billion $1 billion no ti assembly am country
me too
sika na making available no there are countries in Africa be seen there omunya enko check omu sika kra say edema na say because they want it to be there later they will use it omode 2 months within 3 months na Ghana ye de nyina disan no within 3 months we took all the money from the account, we squandered it. Went ahead to borrow money from Bank of Ghana, went ahead to Bank of Ghana to your friends say World Bank for money, brought taxes, and these are the people we are dealing with. The question is, Canadian or Modiaye? There is no single investment in this particular country. I bet me a general say and say. Anyashe. Atuabo gas project no mo ye
$1 billion.
$1 billion project. And that particular thing, no, gas, just a whole lot. Very big infrastructure. Such project, a go beyond this particular generation, a very safe generation yet unborn. That is a legacy project. So these are things we bet me to and you can say, oh, okay, Bosiano, okay. Me too many me Lego Medical School, which offers quaternary medical services. One of a kind in the sub-region for medical research. And then I say for them, okay, workers are there, nurses are there working. Yes, what you better kakra.
They are generating revenue.
Exactly. Oko, you have a rich hospital you must see from the beginning. And I say for these are things that Mahama time Busano already be here yo.
Mahama critics say. And my name Castle with Ridge Hospital renovation of Kwaye.
No. Now, Ridge Hospital. When I was at the University of Ghana, I used to go there for clinicals. Ridge Hospital, near hospital, near harder than this hospital was built from scratch, all new, and kind of all new Accra Regional Hospital. The name Ridge was there, but it's a new facility. This will be or Tiachiri on Kohoda and Awate. But Ridge Hospital is a new facility, and that was built from crane to crank. These are legacy projects. So the good question is 11 billion. Sika ye kan bosia ya born the other side in kan ho. Na bisa ho se sika ni nyina de na ye de aye. Na economy no ya rating the junk. E je be na ye de sika ni ye. These are questions some of us but na we try to ask. So what you want legacy project amodi sika na ye. Na ye hu se say don't mention free SHS. Ma ka cho se sika akọ free SHS no ye mfa nkan sem. Because we are dealing with
huge. And I can't free SHS then can't bosia ekọ no. A heritage fund, Scar Mills eja to ho MIN or use as free SHS.
Don't worry yourself. For bosia kan ho. Fabosia kahon, just free. You know, sometimes I just want to make the argument simple. Because you know, you sika, ayo mind sika. Men how one say na when the bottle one na when bottle. Fact can say ayo bosiano kahon. So tifri bosiano say. But finance minister na num tom or 7.8 something billion and now call into free SHS. Now no parliament no sign call down and say 5 billion. Very confused man onim the oil. These are people who entrusted the destiny of this particular country. Obi and time obia.
No.
We just want them to just put this particular country on a pedestal. The average and the ordinary Ghanaian will have hope. Yawowa, and this is my doctor now, papa, lawyer, and answer way, and sana one opportunity in this particular country. There are people with immense talent. Somebody called me from Israel. He's a Ghanaian. He has never been to school before. But I say, and what's in your a dying? Oh, Kroma, Accra how? I to a Japadi bebre. But what to Kroma no one school? Sabi, ye busa winyanipa. But when there are enough economic incentive available, Sabi they want to young school no also leverage to make a living. That is how we make a country. Yen we anoma mo America yi. They don't send a common master's degree ne obi kura ko on see classroom da. But omo na be talk asase o islegon be si dan. So it means so obi tie nia mo ano in terms of school kura. There are a lot of things those individuals can do. So as a government, you know, how do we create a viable economic atmosphere? I bet to me a tap into the immense human potential. Say, well, all these guys seem say by at least or more jobless. Do we want to create a jobless, youthful population who will be idle forever? All they can do is to be singing praises for honorable doctor, this. Now you use more politics. We don't want them to become self-sufficient. We want to impoverish them the more so that we can continue to play leaders over them, lord over them. And that is it. But in doing that, you know, there will be no future for this particular country. Because this individual you see hovering around the corridors of power, playing president, very soon they will slip to extinction. They will go away. The good question is, who are those taking over? The jobless majority. And now, is it a legacy? Say, they are schooling their children to come and take over. Because that's African politicians, that is what they do. Obani asisi abusi anfo do makogu UK. Kotana hoko school na. Omu free hope, they will come and succeed them. Is that what we want to do? That is the kind of thing we want to change. Shift this particular economy, the basis of this particular country, from Babiana Ewono to a new paradigm. I bet you feed into the emerging, your friends say, global way now. We are seeing there are a lot of things that are coming. My culture says if you make your education better and competitive, Obiti Ghana has say, or no, US can apply to a same job, and free, but it is about competence. So how do we make our citizens very competitive? Our most on the global stage, there are Ghanaians who are technologically savvy. Quite recently, a guy designed a website for me. We post on social media.
Sure.
Very intelligent guy with a lot of ideas and then as a forum, but who is giving him that particular opportunity? What I say, but a lot of guys with the way, how do we create a viable and a sustainable job opportunity? The immense talent in the world. One metana yanka obia nimsebia or that particular journalistic your friend is saying we be but because opportunity has been created, now you are displaying. That is what it takes to bring the best out of people. But we have selfish, greedy, twisted minds, very misguided individuals. All they seek for themselves, they say. Then they impoverish the masses because they know the masses are so gullible. We are not reasonable, we are not sensible, we are emotionally oriented. We have emotional orientation towards politics. So we celebrate people instead of asking value from them. Because you bisa critical questions. Akufo-Addo will be here masquerading around the corridors of this particular country or your president though. Because the day Boris Johnson called and because Boris Johnson there no party or breaking COVID rules. And no by and several issues of corruption by Partygate was the trigger. Because COVID no by and we go or breaking your party. That was the beginning of his woes. I did the corruption and as for at some point to realize there is the need for me to go. me but to serve the people. If almost someone pay me,
I have to go.
I have to go.
Conscious.
He exited. Very intelligent person. Do we have same intelligent people here? They don't. Me say owu akonwa no so ko obewu. Omo obetumi o ha say. Now say me dey ma wo but me fa wo yere obeti ase am wo fa na yere. Cause all they seek is power. Because black man nya power on fa nya nyansasem. Or the baby di ni nuanom so. Akufo-Addo so me baby di mu so. That is what he's doing. Odi so he's not. So that servitude mentality being leader. Our ukun homa won krofo nya life no. And you know, at this crucial time, look at the size of government. Go to the Flagstaff House and check your presidential staffers and ask their contribution to the economy. President Ekoba be a VAT didn't almost be 70. At this time, now president on nama kumbia dinner chino, obenya da judge is also a problem. President, at this time, everybody's crying. And crazy school say, and cry to biase, school feeding, ye feedia, and cry 90 pesos a day. Sa or president. Sa or mine, the president, to kwanya. A community VAT in the dinner because, or ye kokoti. Such a president, you know, there is no space, there is no room for him to go and think, to solve a problem. It is about being president. You see, being president with that responsibility. So, Ghana for, in some na kano, hey, and yes, kraba muadie, and I say, bia, and I boom penny for. These are the real issues over the years. Ya buadia, but, baby, ya drew no. Baby, ya no. We are at the, your friends say, we say the precipice. If you are not fortunate, you best slip into perdition. You can't perdition. I didn't mean your hell. We are likely to slip to perdition. And that is the fate some of us are seeking. And we are vetting that, it means creating sustainable job opportunities for the youth. Ghana for so majority of the people know very well say offer from Libya now cross to Spain. Yet they go there. Some die, some survive. So for people to be faced with such a difficult and tough decision, but yet only so yet they go. Actually, say we are dealing with a desperate situation. Sir or mine cannot have a room for fanfare. Such a mind cannot have a room. President number V8 when Joe Biden, president of the free world, no, leader of the free world, that is how they tag him. Eko Poland no oni soja for no akonya wotisui sa akonya o cameraman tisui ebiso na not oni soja for no to no mudi pizza siribom. It doesn't take anything away from you because we are president that we super special. When I make a quite recently Akufo-Addo on the political fringes was just an ordinary person. And no them dream no them mighty bankune on no every way.
On them can put 50 pesos and
exactly
250 pesos.
But black my culture is a black man. And I'm saying nim sabi do no nim nyansa nti nya tumi a adwen say 2 minutes say me chen wo. Instead of 2 minutes say me ba be create viable opportunities for you know. Black men nya tumi and adwen say dey me chen wo. Water has found its level. Yes. Into oba betena wo so. It's not about creating viable opportunities. Enti so odi usumanu so odi so enti ne car besesa if you team crop besesa no obi kura anya sika za black anya sika na yere crop besesa no e say ne yere akese dodo wa hu ma mo ye slim enti onya ne yere crop besesa no. That is our mentality. So primitive and so childish. Enti until say na make say e say reorient your home sense of leadership and na make kan o TV station bi say yete kroma say ukọ ye universities na and cry no more yard say akwa wa bin you yard you when you 6-1 even say 6-1 and na say for no. What do we encourage them to go and do? Medicine, nursing. What I say? And see omo no mu we na omo te hospital. Ndo omo ya zoom say hey for no. I don't know they join the political wagon. They take the stage, they become leaders. So hey for will be making decisions when the supposed intelligent ones and I saw quiet doctors, you know, or at a hospital, and the hey will be making law for them. But being leadership, you know, we need people with expansive mind. People are very reasonable. That is why countries are taking steps to create leaders. Oko China, Communist Party, and even though it's communist and whatever, they are making conscious effort to create leaders for about 100 years. So it become a succession. Not like Aduru Esumomo, but they create a pool from which a leader can emerge. They will make sure, say, they will indoctrinate you. The idea that they want. China has a long-term policy. 50 years, 90 years. They are hoping, say, by the end of 2025, you know, Chinese foreign investment will reach over $3 trillion by 2025. More investment outside China by 2025 will reach $3 trillion. So such a dream, no? They might not want to come and have a leadership or buy, you come and truncate that particular growth or that particular dream. But yet, you need to money be your time, abro, ajumone, meba meseno, meba meyeno. That is what we do here. So when Nkrumah was overthrown, I told you, sir, his vision, his ideas, his plans were truncated. Yes, sir, and the books you can see, yes, so yes, sir, young Nkrumah no one you two know. Yes, sir, anything Nkrumah, and yet got to train a ball also. And in an Akufo-Addo begin so your Founders Day, no. Poster no more, you don't say your chunk Nkrumah nim, your yina free idea. That is how childish and primitive these guys can be. Nkrumah no lead we know. Ya shada, and some of these things people think and yes, and relevant. It's very, very relevant, and it was deliberate. Nkrumah na oye main way no, ya chene mu mienu nti na nim kakra bi na ba na omobusianfo no sa ache gang no omo they were on the poster. That is how we can be. So I think that leadership no, let us reorient. Me say when you give power to a fool, it is like arming a child with a knife or the betcha no on ability. So whenever you are baby I will tell him no cry, he will not see. What does it? And some I team you who say everything is wrong no. O president or catch us who complain now we are jobless and now we are opposition. He doesn't see. Because leadership fiber and as if we be anymore. Or the occasion with the president and Ababatono, I catch us it's a childhood fantasy, it's a childhood dream and Abamano. So playing president with that responsibility. But being president comes with enormous responsibility. How you can serve people so that your name will be indented in the good pages of political history. And then, if you put to the first page of political history in this particular country, you see Nkrumah highly indented. People make reference to him because he led a legacy that transcends beyond generations. What is the legacy Akufo-Addo is leaving? Another person I'm already a junk. Economy na crash. Otimi kofa enkora 100,000 or more juma or do mbeshema 3 years or say where you mo nkofie napco or sign the omoka about 9 months. Is that the legacy he's leaving behind? Legacy or do minor bobosiana na wofase eje ho cat. Is that it? Or mine say, ye the MFO, SROM, ye beg you almost say, yes, my deal. At the time, the president is telling you that the ministers are doing better. Look at this sheer contradiction. So clearly, it shows that you have a confused old man playing president, and that is a problem. And we cannot blame him alone. And we have to also take part of the blame. Because until say you be change, you can't first why to aba. Now that tribal mix, make us a tribal mix. That tribal prejudices, ethnocentric supremacy idea, na way you move, and na way you say, and say the Bema way, the Bema way, there. Now, Meti Ashanti regional, your friends, MPP Ashanti regional chairman, Kotana TV so Kromaka said.
Chairman want to me,
Baby or no free bar. So when your MPP, now we NDC,
now we scar,
we crassing. So such a character you on them we are man you want say in the next 10 years. Over catch us up a president today. Because my culture said the political stage now you're setting on. And net no. There is no room for intellectualism. There is no room for your friends being sensible, being reasonable. And then you're monetizing. So if you have cash, you know, so whatever means be out in your area, be on phone. Where to crew man and one. About spring surprise or say oh yeah baby do be a man for in the broad day we sat aloof we watch but we are not sick no free but nobody questions. He had musicians who were following him all over adrenaline department where the man was coming from nobody questions or do you nipa akakotana nchen. So when you have money you can just buy your way through and you can become a leader. That is why I told you sir if we are not fortunate one day we are going to put a monkey at the Flagstaff house.
But maybe a phone line so 0245954615 0245954615 and yembre no kopa course no you be fan to o frep 30 seconds what make you comment na che say you dey you know what train come 0245954615 our message is 0503236939 735. Pacho ofrea. But what you say about the volume on your TV set, no, ebe phone. Now we take directly from the phone. Men tell who TV no so till who or phone now that carry was on no. Then me train come and then anope show no. So my main kind message ni be about and then anope show no. So Mustafa Lower Manya Krobo. I'll say for the past 3 weeks, some communities in the Krobo land have total blackouts, and the whole Krobo land is blackout for the past 2 weeks. Electricity Company of Ghana management must bear in mind that possession is not possession and possession is not property. They must think of the ordinary people who are operating cold stores and artisans. Now, the affected hospitals are running half-day service delivery. Hello?
Pacho, good morning.
Pacho, good morning. Pacho, first time for our free fee.
Pacho, we did the Brakwabana.
Pacho, free fee.
Free fee, are you mentioned?
Okay, Brakwabana, are you mentioned to sign up?
Pacho, I did not tell you, Casa, like I said, I had time for the Brawati. I found the brand of mechanical cranch Ghana for.
Mate.
Then I said, you mentioned about Kenya, as what country, and you may go so Ghana and Walker. Let me share about
Mate, Brakwabana, yeah, I say. Brakwabana, every Thursday, we are our active TV, so it's Momodia said Thursday, we are overshare active TV. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and now about.
Okay, yeah, that's it. We had no background how to play.
Mate. Okay. I'll do it to my friend 0245 954 615 0245 954 615. Now, entry in Como. Mama, another message. I'll say, you see, all the problem in this nation is politicians, our politicians. But one day we will get there. These leaders cannot help the nation. God will defend us. Eric from Anoma Wubi Kaswa. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Patrick. First time for our free.
Patrick from George, my free and someone.
George, mami too.
Ha, me Patrick, me can boy no I can far on man who kakra.
Patrick, your boy, why?
Yeah, me brano. Mr. Wa, me brano. Me tie nipa, me hwa nipa. Me di nechi, but dia e koso man no. Me di sanka to me no sanka betumi anka nana do won resign. Na asumdwemra. Because you won't trade do on resign and mum ye na sa said the messy kono you to say sorry and fast from dream because ye bread regiment ho ye bre a jumani ho or resign ni hu ye betumi na nya sa na say you to ne sorry e dia di nyoma bebreba me da say nyamenka mo.
Okay, yeah, that's George. So free if you down so man. Also, with my friend 0245 954 615 0245 954 615. And you make Facebook, you make messages, sir. Woho free 0245 954 615. Ofra, my develop one of TV sets, no. Bra from I like. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
About your first time for free fee.
It's also I from Lagodi.
Okay, Pacho, me too.
Pacho, man, not you. Any dear me who program filming energy. If so, your youth say, yeah, or can find there was a can eka. Yeah, confirm penny for the say, oh, only she, second, yeah, man, police your party. No, can some by heart. When you have to say, put to me answer of the cover. The man can inquire before about 10 years now, about the president. When you are a president, if you say, can you stop a president? When we know any for over deep or man, so man of a penny. We second in the point of the man's away. Not join some of the Kawana, not for the president. I'm a president, I cheap, I'm a beer, that's not a president.
Yeah, I
always my program.
Marty, yeah, that's to say, Ofre. I like the guy Ivan. He will be great guy in future. Thank you for your message, Mame Far more. Okay. Good morning. My name is Andy. Watching you from Dominic Abidjan. Okay. No apena Ochoy. Mame call Facebook. Na men kind message me be a Facebook. Kakrebi na also with my friend 0245 954 615 0245 954 615. Fred Nafa Wajintre Ebra. Okay, let me call Facebook. Let me try and get some messages on Facebook. Okay. Oh, okay. Obi there also here advertisement. Francis Johnson, me da se pass waba wo here advertisement. David Wankala or say, what education could one acquire to describe a nation's economic rating CCCC plus junk state as outstanding? What an illusion. That is the question we are also asking ourselves. Easy Philip, Ivan, you are too much. Okay, send in your message. Let me go in for more messages on WhatsApp. Thank you. Please read my comments. Okay, I've not seen the comments. I'll read it when I get it. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, Patrick. First,
Good morning. Yes, I'm Reverend Michael. Mkafi Kwasema.
Who can say FIFA?
Kwasema, Accra Kwasema.
Kwasema, okay. Reverend, yentio.
Eja ni kanya kosi na hu. Yen timemufo no a ye hu de ye ke papa wa betra wakasa fine. Obakasa se yen tinya support na ne kasa wakasa e all in vain. Enti adenti na yen timemufo no yeso yen timemwa ye ho ano baby. Na yen pe ni pe bi obetuna bi enim se independent kwana whatsoever be cost ye dia yen contribute me sa ne parliament ne pa na mwa yen. Sene se ye jama NDC ni MPP mo mudi yenya. Until say yen ye baka yen ho bom na yini pa ba ko so sene su ye ko ye you qualified. Na yen na yen ka yetim mom ye masa ne pa no bi enim. Na se yen ye pese ye ministers dodo edi o man so. Let me to ye na ma ne ye borders no. Yen tumi ye sa akadifo ye wonim bi bebre nim difu bebre o mo se kona so. O mo se dia ye di ase bi o because of o mo kasa ndu ba bi ento sanko fo ye hu o mo ye. Na mom say ye bridge ye di sani pe na ba on board. Na ye ti obia adwin no contribution bia bi o mbetumi abo o mpate mu ne ba bi o mo wa. E betumi abo yen. Enti na pese obeye afiu obi obetumi di ne ho asi ho. Se obetumi abo na tina ne mpate man ba bi o wo. Obi obetumi bi enu se ne pa mani nsuro ne ye na yen support no me ni say ne nipa but me to be president na. Enti kwese ne ye hwehwe. Enti di o fusu o no obetumi di no yen China tini ammo mpa ye ma no o ma na be ye. But sanko yesa ministers yi besanya die kwanya mo manka se nuanu mo dia omwotika must have the BS.
Martin, Reverend, corner Obimbra. Tell him, please. I'm saying he can run Ghana better than these people. Ivan, this message is to you. Also, I should tell you, I'm saying he can run Ghana better than these people. Please, we want the youth to form a third party so we can retire the NDC and MPP for 50 years. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Pacho, first and final free fee.
The free is
Pacho, so can say
Tetegu.
Hello.
Tetegu.
Pacho, first saying.
Tetegu. Southwest Makati.
Okay, Pacho, co-assistance with you.
The person can say, the bill might be true. The boy and his name, Yen Chemai. Because you have a fact, you tampo, you push your knees so much on my a car at the home. And now, my poor. And before you this for my thought that no, I could only see the person in my Ghana. If you beer you do need here. The Ghana, they say, Chemai. Yen Chemai, all the penalty or the all penalty or the so. Then I get a kaichiri. And none of them as one more.
Yeah, that's also offer. The youth must stop the demonstrations and form a party. These old people are the problems for Ghana, the MPP and the NDC. I have an way Adamfubia when you know US. In fact, over the week, I have a per number. It's a point you a home como or sharing live on Facebook. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Me patch for seven out free.
I patch me Jamila. It's asking so.
Okay, Jamila, with you.
I didn't say. Ọmọ mo kase NDC ni MPP nyina ye pẹ̀lú ọmọ bua ẹsẹ tó bí àwọn NDC san na adwuma nse si ye hwe Ghana ni nyina akututu mo ekoso Ghana nyina aye NDC NDC for so mo ba tikai kwa no no de mo ye fi ento mo to ma MPP MPP ati support ọmọ na mo kase MPP ni NDC nyina ye pe obi anya ma ni ska bebre I want to know five years fee. I know the Yaman Kakra, or they will put to do all the Ghana to Jama. I was in Ghana, Akko. Now, obviously, anything else with United States. Why disappointed? She can't be baby. I could find this Yanka. Or doesn't to do anything in Ghana.
Yati.
Ghana,
Jabila Medase self most of my friend 0245 954 615 0245 954 615. Your guest is very deep, insightful information. Police are so much with some of the messages I want Facebook about the partner between me Ivan Kyei and hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Me about your first time for free.
I'm a chef.
Patch also for free.
Odoko.
About your first saying.
I'm the chef.
Sex me too.
You come on. Now I'm telling you. And I because you look at that choose and catch up with touch. It's like old. And I'm rep also much as I drink was done. And I mean, nation. And this is you. Boom. I tell you that you need to be a contributor. But you're pretty low. How we won't be here. I'll bet you the other thing. Society.
Yadase, Kona Obimbra. Ekufuado doesn't care about your rants. Urinate and go to sleep. Joe Biggs, thank you for your message. Or the message be a kanwa or the mame me finika Joe. I will not mind you cry. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Patch your first for our fee.
I'm in Casa Santa Maria.
Patch your first saying.
A friend Christian.
Okay, patch your meet you.
About you, Ghana, you pay me from especially Nanado. It's me, papa. The Ayami Yasha or Babesia, Ebeka, and the Dakota, and Namo, Kwan, boys in the guest desk, and Namo, Kwan, so Muto Dakota, as I bring out Muto money. Quite Commander Sugar Factory war. Yaya be there with Nanado. Any crowd will be cut sugar cane, will be their sugar cane, will be the sugar cane, and yet. Nanado ni timi e dimpa pa nyankopɔ be twa ne kapa papa owu kota manfo gwa nyankopɔ be twa ne kapa
yate abotare Mr. Abotare me pacho politicians you kaso be di o machi awo e na ava na ka no be kan nsem a eye se wo ka if the fundamentals are weak your junk economy will expose you. Hamza, thank you very much for your message. Okay, producer. Okay, I'm gonna call more messages. No, Felix Lakai. Felix. Okay, William Henry. Or say he cannot reshuffle because there is a criminal syndicate and have debts on each other. Castro Butor, Ivan, greetings to you. I'm watching you live from Laboni. Felix Lakai or said the youth should stop the demonstrations and form a third party so we can send MPP and NDC in opposition forever. Whoever leads the youth party must amend the constitution to enable any young man and woman to run for the highest office. Ivan should be the vice to break the eight. After Ivan's presidency, we can put 2 more smart people in office to another 16 years. Making 32 years of NDC and MPP into opposition. Ghana will be a better country by then. And you see, Philip, Ivan, you are too much. Okay, my kind message we Patrick Ahiagba or say brother Ivan, good job for my Ghana. I mean, 2 calls be na member Ivan so commenting on Krobo land. Krobo's issues, Okay, let me pick more of the messages on Facebook. Hashim Garba also the youth should always listen to this guy, and he's talking about Ivan. All those giving us messages on Facebook, we are very grateful and thank you for watching us on Facebook. Okay, let me go straight to Ivan. Okay, Castro. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Me pacho for Ivan Afrefi.
Me Fefi Makati.
Okay, pacho meet you.
Because me pay this say adjust for or to pay stay na on GP.
Pachowana.
Adjust for.
Okay. So as
pay and because I mean man call juma
okay, as a stand now there, make me you are not say Adjosafo has been sacked as the finance as a gender minister. It is a honor on just salary, but as
okay, previously you know how to quite or call you know. You check Tianeka and I in Tianeka.
Near Tianeka.
Oh, okay, then that's good. Then that is good. That was
Mate. Ivan, greetings to you and watching you live from Laboni, Castro Buto Bium, also Chapa. Baba Amando, or say in Ghanaian out of 100%, 90% are full and 10% accessible. So that's why these politicians are mismanaging our resources, because what Ivan is saying is true, but you see, the fools are insulting him. Thank you for your message. Baba Mando Biomosi, we live in a country where the fools are many than the sensible ones. Thank you, Baba Amando. Mami fat last call. Mami person me fat last call. Until last call, Pacho Fre. Not before I call Ivan. Me fat last call. I me fat call. Until person only me mention come. But more just over friend 0245 954 615 0245 954 615. Now yenche and come more messages on Facebook. Abdul Razak Mohammed, I say our constitution must be changed. Hey, I support you. Yes, our constitution must be changed because our constitution is making a lot of people to misbehave in this country. Mamenfa last caller, Embra, na yentwa jumedie so mema some few seconds I'm the last caller. Na matwa jumedie so pese me Ivan ewie on a Krobo land issue no so. Okay, Baba Mando Biom, I say they don't hold the leaders accountable. That's why the leaders saying whatever they want. My good friend Ivan, the great always deliver. Keep educating the youth. Okay, last call I need to be so. My main closing lines, you know. Ivan, now so we can on Krobo land issue, no.
Yes, the kind of main chair we Queen at the park. You follow about Facebook all the time or share program way in other way. Okay. Queer friend and Gloria yeah. Several other followers. The chair will be our train so we development I call so our Kroboa. And also coming to expose another leadership failure. Because you see, electricity baby bedroom one of the basic necessities. Baby bedroom level ya woman dey very difficult so we betimi atena kra say na nema wo ye kasa wo yi electricity afrim at any point in time say adibia si ewo krom the whole town so ama light bill na se for challenger but na se yantimi an resolve to a level a man for light bill arise to babia bebre ho tua krom ntimi ntua at the leadership level no what you need to design that particular thing is a crisis zone. That crisis, you take earnest measure to resolve it. So that particular thing more or less has become a national security crisis in a country. So that is when proper leadership must come to bear. Baby, and I'm saying level as spike away no here the citizenry no play more at this point because obi light back could do 40 million. Obi lad be say obi dia kwade na mova be 300 million na se for no e ba na se na ekokuduru ho which means certain things we are saying kaya proud to no yanye and that particular thing now resulted in the huge sums of money people who majority of the people are jobless okay say just a dino clock turn and some of the between light bill na se for so government at the policy level no you identify that particular thing as a major challenge as a national security crisis. So in resolving that particular thing, no, you don't shut the whole town. Say me the more than sumu because more the car. It doesn't make sense. It's the same primitive orientation to leadership that man yesi amaye musei. And amona mo yesi na amaye musei. How can you obeka say the whole minor, the whole city who light free more because that is what we have been told and I just
managing director no say
critical infrastructure.
Obi the change akotwa on the transmission line mu.
E krom ho no mukukutwa.
Sanoka.
E krom ho no muhia power na beba sign obi kwa kutwa 2 million as a phone. But whatever it is, I think that it's a crisis we are dealing with. It should not get to a level where because light now every honor, whichever way because the meti and say binum ya shut power no off. Meaning say will be the cocoa try. So will be the cocoa try there, that is unfortunate. But
but before he made that statement, now he categorically stated say he decided to take them off the grid.
Yes, because I saw it on several platforms they've been taken off the grid. And I think that is a national security, your friends, a problem. You can't take a whole town off the grid. Because a kind of you'll be under the car. What is happening? And there are critical infrastructure or hospital and as for run it.
Much about so it's about say much but dead bodies are decomposing.
Exactly. And there are among who are doing private business or who running on electricity then as for power at this particular time is a necessity. You must not. But what kind of leadership approach is this? One for Ghana card and call bank or use the IM farm mount. Windy Ghana card, I won't register or card I am farm as a 1 year Ghana card and the register was sema. Auto credit better tell basa basa. This a minister talking like a baby. That is the kind of leadership we are confronted. When we say, where lies the sense? I had to lead a country, the sense of leadership. I had to lead just to meet people halfway. Leadership, no, the construction, every day you'll be dealing with a problem. But the kind of intelligence you're able to gather, the wisdom to be able to handle and address challenges, that is what makes you a leader. So if you're a leader and you're not dealing with a problem, you're not a leader. Leadership is about solving other people's problems and providing future that is viable and sustainable for majority of the people. So how do you provide that? That is why I told you that leadership is an act. You need to perfect it. In perfecting it, a lot must go into it. You don't threaten citizens or you don't take harsh initiative. One yes, I may say, and that has been the policy of this particular government. Yantiano mama banks and they say, your mama within a few months. Recapitalization when we make sure say you're jumping to 400 million. Bank and I will say all facing liquidity challenge, You are giving the same bank an ultimatum say onya over 400 million non-farm metal as seed money. And Yansa was asking way, cannot correct. You see what kind of leadership is this? And on one team, yes, bank and where who say we here 9 billion, the over 25 billion Ghana cedis, Agu banks creating team of unemployed youth in this particular country. We are confronted with a huge banking sector crisis. Now the economy is shrinking because at the local level now my economy you're taking it off. And then so near. And the Bena buying the best adwin, Nyansa na adwin, they are running this particular country. That is the problem. So citizens now you see, we are NDC near any problem. We MPP near any problem. We are there problem. But always let us try to elevate the discourse beyond the frontiers of partisan politics. Now, Yankase Yankopon the boy, how do we use Yajin to judge people? And do Banner at that point in time, it's not about party, it is about the person. What the person has to offer. Just have eye on quality. Who has what it takes? Because so consistently, if we are giving power to people, last time I say, Okobebia. Would it to me upon check crowd the party flag to no so about Abama? Now, Mrs. Now, what they are Okoto Abama upon Chiwia, Nasa upon Chinya V to no Chia, or Bakayo or Sababe development. So, what to Kumasana who soon said, O Kanya, also to Abama upon China V8, say in a level assistant, or Baba Fiaba your Kayama. That is the level we've got into. Let us give power to a man for more deserve. A man for more show course or more prove will be actually say, nipa way, or bet me, baby. Near bear who send away and our bread and on the watching a match. The ben a leadership bear were bread and I drew way soon, I drew way so. I don't know about a bang. Say, yes, sir. On mine 50 to 60 years after independence, baby at Tiana Yetio. My culture sank our Mayan sank Africa, or the torch bearer, Ghana. God getting our independent emancipation, hoping Sedan Kibet the economic freedom, but yenya. And the countries are more kind of cry after 100% because you done great here now. Ghana economy is junk, we are no more and they are not junk. Cote d'Ivoire economy is not a junk economy. Even Togo's economy is not a junk economy. But why is Ghana's economy junk economy? And they're all spheres. Even football cry in the 80s and the 90s, you had a pride here. Ghana is the Brazilian of African soccer. And the corruption are eating deep into the fabrics of football to the extent and football talent in our heaven.
ayira
this country when you produce it on the boa abedipele wine ba be si asamojan no so ene it's about whom you know. Corruption everywhere, pervasive practicing. Your local teams you heard them house of folk no kotoko enya kono kra say obeka say we support to do these things. What I say corruption na to say ya say ya dibia. So what will be the future of this particular country? To the extent that the most critical infrastructure of the country, which is supposed to be education, you know, and the politics. President Timika so top ask question Abraham Kra, or Monko Churo no Muncha, no Munhuru NDC for the country almost say Kufa don't cry no man pass it. So the president will take over 53 million Ghana cedis for 2 years and fan top ask question and Chaman Kra. Na ya and Kranabako University is the common percentage grammar on to be calculated. So I know that they watch the quality of minds I produce and even the educational system design is you on a and yet they are motivating reasoning logic in as a form be past questions yan and the more university where we first class or ba nyansa be any party no on because I bedu be under Ghana we bet me catch us or a doctor. What's the other respect be man but onya kasa we are one who respect another man obeje wade because the word prefix na kan ho doctor no you ubenya certain what oh wow woni nyansa ni na kasa but okasa wi a wan hwe a respect na de man no beje wade obetimi ate lawyer obetena radio so okasa wi a no be zansa na okọ school wo hefa. You see, these are things that we need to do a lot. Me say the entire political and economic infrastructure of this particular country, need massive overhaul and rehabilitation. And in rehabilitating these things, we need to do a lot because say ya nyesa or mind be kunkon ho say ya da bia ya be celebrate ya ho glories. Nti sa na say ya ho okrom ha o. Ya be ya nkroma pencil na ya Canada gigi ani. Okokotoko me kan on the 1980s in na 4 year conquer Africa no by ne there is nothing to show. Accra House of Folk be kan the same achirawo nti cap no ko yibra wa ye friend say ntafre nkwa ntafre negum but modern no ene de be na ye modern cap no ye bi nchirawo ntafre cap ese we are say
okay
football is going down. What I say, so we need to do a lot to ensure say
okay, what that Ivan say, that make us on that note, and then Black Princesses on the first match in the under 20 Women's World Cup, Costa Rica, USA 5 p.m. Yefa in Paibo entire team echi aha na embrebe ma yakwane de dwumedie it's meda production team nyina meda Ivan asese obeka yensa ene anope every Thursday bia or ha ebo 9 a.m. No wajina konya nti bomodi an say obehye no so every Thursday bia Ivan Kyei innocent ewa ha meda mo a mo friend nyina say ene mo send message mo share on Facebook nyina yeda mo say ene anope say munya mre ena mo je mre so ehwe eye meda production team no ase eye too sweet wisdom ene FL monitor sound no emma ye meda obi bia say obo ama ne production no e course police can be now what's it what's one efwa and then efwa asamwa oprega and then they say ne ono ye MCR assistant and obuadwuma no MCR pa efwa nyame insha ye do bia ase meda apostle general say obo ayen ema ye de show no bro nyame adoma ochina morning show ne beba na ochina Fabia ebesi akonya na ode show no abro ochina